what you need to do is travel to the EDZ, and specifically the Gulch in the EDZ. Now, essentially what you have to do is gather 6 codes, and then that unlocks the bunker. So if we go to the left here, we see that there is a Vex box here. So if we grab it, we see the access code appear on the bottom left with a 30-second timer. So we're going to grab it, immediately turn around, and we're going to go underneath this bridge and grab this next one. We are then going to hop on our Sparrow here. When we hop on our Sparrow, we're then going to grab this one directly in the middle here in front of us. We can just drive through it. We're then going to go up here to these rocks. We can drive through this one as well. So that puts us on 4. We then have one here on top of this sign. So I just go to this light, and then you can run and jump from here and grab it. And the last one here, we're going to go forward and to the left, and it's going to be just to our left up here. So if we jump off, we go to the left here, we can find the last one here. Now we have the simulated cave entrance access code. So just from this last one here, we're going to continue forward in this section right here, and right where we see this light, we're then going to turn left. And just so you know, when you see a message appear, if you're in the Gulch in the bottom left-hand side, that means that you have unlocked it, but you've also unlocked it for everyone else in the area as well. So they will have a certain amount of time to come through here as we continue forward, and we are going to drop all the way down. Okay, so let's go through and access this node Avalon, so we can start this mission here. I guess we jump into this light here, and this is going to take us into the node. Okay, so it looks like we have to jump down here, and we have to destroy this enemy. So it looks like there is a path underneath here. So if we drop down, we just have to be careful not to get crushed. So we can come underneath and then jump back up here, go through the middle. Okay, so once we get to this section here, you're then going to go to the far right and go across here. And then we're going to continue down this little Vex river with a waterfall. Couple of harpies here to take out. So you can actually go down either side here into the little Vex waterfalls into the river. And then when you go to the direct middle, and in the direct middle here, we're just going to turn into this path here and continue forward. Now we're going to drop all the way down here and see what happens. So we can't actually stop partway. So let's drop all the way down. Now from this part here, I'm just going to drop off and see what happens. It looks like we're being directed somewhere here. So let's just pull it wherever it's going to take us. Okay, the variant security protocol. From this point forward, if you die, you have to start back at this point all over again. So there is 2 sections here where we have to enter our codes and a ton of enemies that we have to defeat. So for about, 15 minutes or whatever, until we get to the next section where it says explore the Vex network in the top left-hand corner, you want to make sure that you're being very careful so you do not die. Now, I would highly recommend that you use a Void Super and Void weapons with volatile rounds for this part, because all of the shields are void and it makes the next combat parts a lot easier. So let's hit this barricade here. We're going to jump up to the left. We're going to jump up again. Then we're going to jump across. Then we'll jump onto the platform with the Vex here. And we just have to take out the first group of Vex before we can enter some codes. 3 codes. Okay, so after we take out the first group of Vex and activate this pillar here, we then have to find the code and enter it in the correct order. Now, keep in mind that these Vex will continuously keep spawning. So what we are going to do is looking directly at the pillar with the starting point to our back. We're going to look to our right, and we start at the top, and then we go down. So my first icon here is going to be the cube. So I need to shoot the cube here. And then I'm gonna have 2 diamonds. Now keep in mind that for you guys it will be different, so the code is different for everyone. I believe it may not be, but I'm fairly certain that it is, and the codes will change each time that you fail them, enter the wrong codes, or die. Now when you enter the code correctly there, we are then going to take out some Vex here, and the next one, if we put our back to the pillar facing towards the wall that's blocking off where we need to go, we're then going to look to our left and we will find our next code. So again, starting at the top and then going to the bottom, mine is diamond, square, diamond, diamond. That is code 2 done for me. Now to find the third code, we're going to put our back to this pillar. We're going to walk forward and to the right, and we're going to look just behind this Vex portal here, and we will see our next code. So my next code is square, square, diamond, square, square. Okay, so just keep in mind that you're going to need to keep strafing back and forth. See, I entered the wrong code there because I was trying to talk and do this. So we're going to go back to the same location here. And just to the right of this Vex pillar, we can see that mine has now changed. So it is diamond, square, 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 diamond. So we're going to go diamond. And now all we have to do is take out these Vex. We want to be very careful here and not just run forward. So we're going to want to make sure that we have a longer range weapon. It doesn't really matter, but if you have a longer range weapon that does void damage, it will be more effective. So before we walk around this corner here, we're going to pull out our longer range void weapon, and we're going to take out this Cyclops right up on the pillar. After we do that, we are then going to focus on taking out all of these enemies here. Again, a volatile void build is super effective for this specific mission. Now, before we walk around this corner here, we want to be really careful of our left, because if we go around, there's a Cyclops there waiting to snipe us. So now we're coming up here to another section where we need to kill some enemies at the beginning. And after we take out these groups of enemies, we'll then have to enter some more codes. This one is more difficult, so you want to put your emphasis on staying alive here. So the first one, we are going to jump up here, and we're going to look directly to our left. So my personal one is cube, diamond, cube. So I like to do them in this section here. So I jump up, I find out what my code is, and because everything respawns, it doesn't make sense to stand up there and try to kill it over and over. So I just come down to this section here to try to shoot my, enter my code, and whatever enemies push me, I will fight them, but I don't specifically go looking for them. So let's jump up here and toss a void nade to do a ton of damage, and putting our back to this pillar, we're gonna look forward and right. I'm just going to use my super here to get some ad clear out, forward and right, and we're going to get our code. So for me, it is diamond, diamond, cube, diamond, diamond, cube, cube for me. So you need to get whatever your code is, do a little bit of ad clear, and we're going to head back down here. The second cube. So that is code number 2 completed. Again, we're going to jump up and toss a void nade. Now for this next one, we're going to jump up and put our back to the pillar again. And then we're going to go to the left here. So we need to take out some of these enemies so that we are safer. And this is where the volatile comes in very handy. And we're going to go to the left now. On the left side, we're going to see ours. So mine is very easy. Diamond, cube, cube, diamond, cube is mine. Again, be careful, because if you die, you do have to start over. And that is our third code completed. So we're just going to come back here and take out the couple of enemies that are back here. And then we're just going to very carefully work our way forward and take out all of these enemies here. Because we do not want to die at this part, because we will have to do it all again, I believe. So let's take out these enemies. Void is incredibly good, as I've mentioned a few times. I will link my build at the end of the video if anybody is interested in a really good Void build. Okay, so we're just going to keep destroying these enemies. We push forward here. Again, we're going to play this very slow so that there's no risk of us dying and having to start over. There's a ton of enemies up on this section here, so it is worth using a super here. Just make sure that we're still playing careful. And some more enemies are going to spawn. We just have to take out the rest of these enemies here. And once we take out these last couple, we move on to the next section. Now, at this point going forward, you are now able to die again because we're doing an exploration section and we have to like jump around. So let's grab all of this stuff here, and then we're just going to run straight across here. We're going to turn left. Longer range weapon for the hobgoblin. We're going to jump across the gap. We're going to turn right and go up the ramp. We're going to jump all the way across here. And when we do so, we can shoot from down here, these guys up top. And then we need to jump up on this little ledge on the left. So jump up on this ledge, and then we can jump all the way up to the top. Take out these enemies here and continue forward. We're going to jump up on these platforms here. Now, we need to be very careful moving forward here, because when I jumped through, so I'm just going to go forward and fall down. When I got booped by one of these things that comes across the screen, it knocked me out of this section and I was glitched. I was not able to get back inside. So be extremely careful of these, that they don't knock you out. I'm just going to walk past the first one. Then we'll wait for the second one here. Again, extremely careful, because I've had to redo this whole first part so far because I got glitched out of the side, and we're going to go forward. All right, so we're going to continue on this section here. Okay, so we're going to run straight forward here, down and to the right. Then we're going to jump across to the left here. We're going to walk along this edge. There is a harpy that we need to destroy. So once we get to this edge part here, we can simply just run and jump off to the right. Now, these platforms do move, so keep that in mind. They do disappear, so we're going to jump. Whatever you need to do to get through there with your jumps, take out that harpy. There is just these two sections here, and they do disappear, so just keep that in mind and play that carefully. If you die here, it is okay. So we're going to take out all of these harpies in this next section if we can here. So from this platform here, once we get across, we need to jump to this slanted section here. We then need to jump across again to this next section here. Now, for this part here, we need to get all the way underneath to the edge of where this is. And when it pops out, we just push forward on it, and then we'll immediately start walking. Push forward on the next one, immediately start walking, and the exact same thing, because otherwise we will get booped. Now, after those three, we're going to wait for this next one to pop out. Then we're going to push forward against it and immediately start walking. Push forward against the next one, start walking, and it looks like we can run and jump forward to the right over here. So just make sure that on this little section here that you get out far enough that you can actually uncrouch, because for a second there it wasn't letting me uncrouch, so I would have fallen off and died there because my jump doesn't have uplift. So we jump from there out to this section to the right here. We're going to continue forward again. I'm just going to investigate these lights. Okay, those lights are nothing special. We're just going to continue forward. So let's place a rally banner here. And then let's jump up top. This little lift will take us in. Let's try to save our heavy ammo here. So we're just going to take out these couple of harpies that are here. Once we take out these harpies, then we can jump up on this platform here where the Vex portals are. And on this platform, we can take out some enemies here. And there's going to be 2 hobgoblins that are going to spawn above us here. So these data holders will come towards us. So let's take out these 2 hobgoblins because they're mean and we don't like them. And then we can run to the left-hand side over here and grab all of the data that we need. Let's make sure that we take out this other hobgoblin. And the one on the far side as well. So now, once we enter this data, it is actually going to, you know, the floor is going to go away and we're going to drop down. So we need to stay in this little section here, but you can be damaged. So whatever you need to do to stay alive there, we need to do that. Because if you stay up top, you actually get deleted and the mission ends. So now we're going to go back up to our spot here. And we're going to just take out these enemies again. It looks like we need some more data. We have 40 seconds to do this. So we need to get 10 data total. Okay, we've got all of our data. Let's go through and enter our data here. Let's get into this section. If you have something to heal you, then you should use it. If you don't, then you should be running little laps here around the outside so that these enemies don't get good shots on you. Okay, we can do some damage to these enemies that are still up there. Again, just walk around the edges here. Be careful of the hobgoblins and the other things. We're going to spawn back up top. Deletion cycle reset. Okay, so now we have to kill a boss. So let's jump up to our safety spot over here. It looks like some Vex will spawn behind us on our safety spot. So we're going to take out these 2 harpies on our head. And we're going to try to do some damage to these other harpies here. Just any add clear weapon is good here, although obviously the Osteostriga is going nuts right now. So I'm going to use my super on this guy. Let's get back up top to our safety spot here. Take out the new harpies that are spawning in, the ones up top as well. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit of a shotgun here just to get some extra damage. We're going to wait for our next objective to appear. Just up in our safety spot, our comfort spot, where we can use the walls as cover. It says we just need to defeat Vex. So we can just work on doing that, defeating all of these guys here. Okay, more enemies are spawning in. There's another entire platform behind us now, and they're teleporting directly on us. So definitely be careful of that. If you stand a few feet back, you should be okay. So we do have a ton of these guys coming around the right-hand side. Let's take out these 2 hobgoblins up here. We have to gather 10 of these data points fairly quickly here. So I'm actually going to rush a little bit because I didn't realize that that objective had popped up on the screen. So we have enough data fragments. Let's go ahead and use them and then drop down into this section here. Again, play this however you need to stay safe while it does the data purge. Now we're back up to the top. We'll see if we have to do some boss damage here. We have to take some more data fragments. So let's go through and gather them here. Okay, so we need to gather these pretty quickly. Damn, these goblins have the big boy guns. Oh, that might hurt. Okay. So we need 12. So let's gather the 12 and then drop down here. Play very safe. Reload your guns if you need to. Again, if they're shooting you, you can just rotate around this circle here until you get to cover. Let's get ready to fight the boss because it's likely that this time we're gonna have to do that. Okay, there he is. So I'm just grabbing that orb of power because I want the void rounds. I'm gonna go back up to my comfort spot up here. I'm gonna focus on these 2 harpies above me. After I take them out, I'm then going to focus on taking out all of these little guys here. I'm going to use my super again because it looks like I'm getting it back fairly quickly here. I have to take out a lot of enemies in between, so that's fine. Okay, so it looks like this part here, I can actually do more damage to him than before because it says defeat now, so I think this might be the full-on boss fight. So let's grab an orb of power here, get our volatile rounds. And as soon as that stupid shield is out of the way, then we're going to focus on the boss damage here. The boss is actually pretty weak. Okay, so we defeated the boss in this section here. So after we defeat the boss in this section, we have to wait a little bit for the invulnerability thing to go through here, the force field, and then we simply run and jump up here. And we continue along. There's a little platform at the back here. And then we run and jump off of this to make it to the far side over here. Keeping in mind that there is a wyvern to fight when we get here. Now we see our little buddy to the left. So let's head over this direction. We're going to jump across over here. Turn right and go around this along the edge. Keep going. There's a couple of hobgoblins here. So if we still have our long-range weapon, we just take them out quickly. Keep going across these platforms. It looks like we now need to go through here, and we actually have to sprint. So once this platform in front of our eyes goes away, we need to go through here immediately. I'm going to slide. We keep going, just keep sliding, and you should be able to get through to the end. And then we're going to jump up on this here, and this is going to take us through to the next section. Now there is a conduit box type thing there, but it is immune. Okay. So let's take out these harpies. Looks like we have to now jump down. There's another harpy at the bottom. Oh, these platforms move. So I'm just going to jump around this wall. I don't know what they thought that was going to do, but we see our little homie again over here. So presumably we now have to go down. So we're going to slide down this section, and it's going to launch us a bit to the next section here. So once we get across here, it looks like this is going to be the area for the final boss fight. So let's jump up and get into this conflux and finish out this mission here. Okay, so this is the big boy that we have to fight. Okay. Looks like this platform back here is probably going to be the safest one. So we can play back on this platform, take out the enemies as they come towards us here. And then we can do some boss damage to the boss himself, who looks like he just teleported on top of us. So just run away a bit. There's no enemies spawning right now. So I'm just going to focus on doing damage to this guy. I'm going to use my super because I'll probably just get it again from the regular enemies. Okay, he is now immune. Loads of enemies are spawning in. Again, volatile rounds here is gonna go kind of crazy. Although, yeah, it does look like he did have a void shield. Okay. So I guess I'll just throw a nade at him. So we're gonna work on getting a little bit closer to this guy. He's not super accurate. Let's try to get him to another immune phase here. Okay, he went immune again. I think he just goes immune to teleports, but then you can immediately shoot him again. All right. Okay. Almost out of heavy ammo, so that's not the greatest. But I can just have all of these enemies take each other out with the Osteostriga. I would probably not use a shotgun for this section. So I would probably switch to some other kind of energy here. Like a sniper or something for damage at a distance would be pretty good. Okay, he's now coming to us. I may try to use my shotty here. Okay. We got him immune. Maybe we just use our shotty to take out a bunch of these guys. Okay, so we'll take out all of those. Looks like we have to continue forward here through the conflux. After we did the first tick of health, make sure all of your stuff is reloaded. Let's play on the left-hand side over here just to get ourselves some cover so we can go through this fight. There is a Hydra and 2 Wyverns, so we need to be extremely wary of those. I'm just going to spam a little bit of heavy just to get rid of those guys. It looks like the boss does still shoot at you, so be careful for that. The Hydra is not very powerful. Let's go back to the safety of our spot over here. Okay, there are now some Cyclopses that we definitely want to make sure that we're taking out, because they will hurt. They might even one-shot us. Through the legendary campaign and stuff, the Cyclopses did one-shot, so let's finish this guy off. Let's take out these stragglers here. Okay, it looks like we're going to have to do one of the code puzzles again. So they actually hid the code here, basically right beside where I was trying to, you know, play for cover here. So if we go forward from the very beginning of the mission here, and we turn left and go on the left-hand side, and then we look through this floor here, we can see our pattern. So again, starting at the top and going all the way down. So let's go through and enter that pattern here. I got a pretty easy code, so I'm just gonna go ahead and keep entering my code here. So mine was just square, diamond, diamond, diamond. So the firewall is rebooting. Okay, so that means that we can now do damage to this guy. Okay, so let's hit him. Let's use our super. I'm gonna use my shotgun, but position myself so if he hits me, then I'm gonna fly into the arena and not out of it. Try to do as much damage here as we can. Okay, so when his firewall resets, it looks like that means that all of the other enemies are then going to respawn as well. So we have to now take out the Wyverns and stuff. Careful, because they do boop. So if you're playing this edge, just be aware of that and try to play as carefully as you can. Okay, I'm just going to use a grenade there just to guarantee the kill. Alrighty. So it looks like we're gonna have to enter another access code here. I shouldn't be wasting my heavy ammo here. because I am going to need that. So I'm actually going to run up and use my shoddy on this Cyclops. Okay, so you can farm these guys here until you get your super if you need to, as they do keep respawning. And we're gonna go to the center part again and then to the right to get the code. And I'm just gonna keep using my abilities here to try and increase my supercharge. So here's our code here. Okay, so after we've completed that code, we need to get ready for boss damage here, as we do only have 25 seconds again to do the boss damage. So I'm going to use my super and then just try to spam heavy. He is immune. Okay, let's take out these Cyclopses. Let's try not to get caught out up there. Take out this other Cyclops on the far side. Should be good to go. Go down and grab anything down here that you need if you need it. And let's jump through the portal. Get to the next section here. Okay, so the boss is already out and he's running straight at us. So let's take out a few of these guys. Okay, he's right on top of us here. And he's blasting. Okay. So this is kind of scary because I don't really particularly want to be booped off. But we'll see what happens, I guess, here. Okay, he has his weak spot in the middle. Does a fair amount of damage. I'm just going to eat everything and spam him down. Perfect. So let's go forward and we will draw whatever this is out. So the next step of the mission here is to bring the object from the Vex network to the war table for analysis in the helm. So let's go to destinations, open up helm, and head to the war table. So let's open up the helm here. And we can read through the quest dialogue, or we can just accept this here. And this actually is a pattern. Interesting.